The town of Willow Creek was a small community nestled deep in the dense forests of the northern United States. The streets were lined with tall trees, and the air was always fresh and crisp. It was a peaceful place where nothing much ever happened. But one summer evening, a young woman named Emily went missing. Emily had just finished her shift at a local diner and was walking back home. It was a route she had taken countless times before, but this time was different. As she walked, a car pulled up beside her. The driver offered her a ride, and Emily, thinking nothing of it, climbed in. At first, the driver seemed harmless, but as they drove deeper into the woods, Emily began to feel uneasy. Something was off about this man. Suddenly, the car screeched to a halt, and the driver dragged Emily out of the car. She tried to scream, but he clamped a hand over her mouth. Emily struggled, but the driver was too strong. He tied her up and threw her into the trunk of his car. Days turned into weeks, and Emily was trapped in a small, dark room. The only light came from a small window high up on the wall. Her captor would come in every so often to bring her food and water, but he never spoke to her. Emily was scared, but she refused to give up hope. One day, the door to her room opened, and Emily's captor walked in. But this time, he wasn't alone. He had brought another girl with him, and he tied her up next to Emily. Emily tried to comfort the girl, but she was too scared to speak. Over the next few days, the captor brought in more and more girls, until Emily was surrounded by a sea of scared, crying faces. She knew that they were all going to die, but Emily refused to give up. She started talking to the other girls, sharing stories and memories. They formed a bond, and together, they came up with a plan to escape. One night, when their captor was asleep, the girls managed to slip out of their ropes and make a run for it. They ran through the woods, not knowing where they were going but just desperate to get away. As they stumbled through the trees, they saw a light in the distance. It was a small cabin, and they could see someone inside. Emily and the other girls ran towards the cabin, hoping that whoever was inside would help them. But as they got closer, they realized that the person inside was their captor. He had somehow beat them to the cabin, and now he was waiting for them. Emily and the other girls tried to run, but the captor was too fast. He caught them one by one, dragging them back to his car. Emily watched in horror as the other girls were thrown into the trunk, one by one. She knew that it was only a matter of time before she was next. But just as the captor was about to grab her, a group of police officers burst into the cabin. They had been tracking the captor for weeks, and they finally found him. Emily and the other girls were saved, but they were never the same. They had been through a nightmare that would haunt them for the rest of their lives, and they knew that they were the lucky ones. There were so many other girls out there who would never be found.